Hey, yeah, do not engage in Satanism, and that's all this is. That's all this has been for 14 years. Voice to skull, remote neural monitoring, targeted individual torture, CIA projects, particularly involving mind control, gang stalkers, a handler, a contract, on my head, faked mental illness, but really it's satanic, synthetic telepathy. So satanic misdirection. Um, Folks out there that have heard the term may be better able to explain it or give examples. Um, However, I'll start with some of the stuff that I knew. I was living in Portland about 2 years ago. I was writing a memoir on Twitter, and it activated gang stalking. And I didn't know what gang stalking really was at the time. Like, I would walk out of my apartment, some dude would be sitting there waiting to call me God, or I would be down at the shop getting soup. Some woman would say I just served savior. It's shocking at first, and they've done sociological and remote neural monitoring calculations on people's like anticipated reactions and their uh, uh, their the cowardice and the parasitical um, relationship of a targeted individual and a gang of stalkers. But for some reason, they wanted to call me like the God word, which if you know me and you know like not a lot of people do anymore, because you get so isolated because it's like don't ever fucking use that word around me. God, it is one of the most criminally abused terms in existence, particularly if you're dealing with synthetic spiritual slavery telepathy. It's not properly used, and don't ever call me that. Like, here's an example of like some of the shit that I have to translate that's intimidating as a Westerner who's studied Buddhism. And that pantheon or family of gods, there's 140 million gods in India. Same word. In Christianity, which was the other school I was asked to study, there's one. So I'm an aspiring Arhut, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's like a Bodhisattva Buddhist who's like, yeah, this is my last time. I'm not going to incarnate here. And I've given as clear in a world of illusions, and I'm getting fed a lot of bad info as a TI in general. Clear instructions on how to get out of here. Particularly for the nano-infected, who are my highest priority. We may not always get along, particularly because of the satanic misdirection shit, which I don't fully understand because I'm not a fucking deviant. But yeah, so moments of death. If you are infected, you have a remote neural monitoring thing going on, voice to skull, things like that. Gang stalk. Privately, my nanos has expressed intent to enslave past one lifetime, and that's just par for the course in Buddhism in general. They may not have had all the coordinates of like, yeah, it's part, the moon or Saturn or the sun. If you fly into those or swim into them after you die is the term they use, swimming through space. You can get misled and like incarnate here again, but it's not pretty, but I'm not going to be prissy about this. I want you guys not to ever have to incarnate here, especially if you've been a TI and nano infected and they've made hell for you. Um, I don't. It's not. It's not pretty. I probably wouldn't put it on a like a Christmas card, like or maybe I would. But eventually, when I pass on as part of just death rights, it should be looked at it like that. The Vikings used to send you off in a ship and then shoot an arrow at it and made sure that burned up out there at sea, so you became um, you know, that was your death right. For nano-infected in the U.S., the U.K., and it's beyond that. Deep Thought News has some speculation, and they're like electromagnetic form, like raping everybody. It's not just Oregonians and the qualitative or quantitative analysis I've done. Like I'm not the only one here. They're doing that too. The rape to suicide technique is worldwide. They've been doing that probably for a very long time. For me, it was 5 years. And then all of this public display for a Zoom streak, which isn't even possible. Even the fact that I even had to get a Mission Darkness Black Satchel. I mean, you failed. I would like to say like I failed as a leader. No, but you guys really have totally failed. Please hate nonsense. Bullshit. Anyways, I've been a prolific writer for some time now. A lot of my writing may be in other people's hands that maybe don't have your best interest in mind, but I keep trying to disclose. I'll try to do more YouTube video. I run the risk with this of Mockingbird modifying the content, but not everybody reads or can get to my website. They artificially keep things like hit counts low on websites. When I put something up by Wes Henry, I think is his last name. It's a corroborated video on the same information I got in a birth memory reoccurring dream and from some other sources about them black switch holes around the criminal compound around the solar system. Like that's how you get to heaven, or heavenly planes. But I put Wes's video on a link on the Twitters, on the old text group for words. And for a while, like, it must have broke through some of their filters. Wes got like 30,000 hits, like, in the next 48 hours, which was like double the ones that he had had previously. And then, like, in instances like that, and there was like another video that I was watching, and I've seen like Mockingbird come through and like sort of brag about its work. Like the internet's a big front, and by appearance, it can break in and like change numbers on people's hit counts on YouTube to try and look like for impression management and problem reaction solution thinking. Like if you see some of my, like I have this video about greed that I made in this public policy focused numbers guy whips out some uh, graphs about inequity in the U.S. and it's really okay additional part that I've made for the video. They artificially keep stuff like that low. Like so something that normally should have gotten maybe like 900 or 9,000 hits, like we'll get 9. And shit like that for impression management and whatnot. And at the same time, my intellectual property rights are stolen and siphoned off and given to nano thieves and other criminals in this same crime. Some of the worst in the cosmos, same plot to enslave every man, woman, and child of mind, body, and soul. Past one life, make anybody you know a sex slave for gang stalkers who just will hack in with electromagnetic form frequency emanations, and it's like an EMF form. They could be Donald Trump or whatnot and show up in that form, and then for them in another part of the world or QAnon's faggot basement, like allegedly they're just who's another coattail biatch. If you're doing a 1% like analysis, like this may be on a space station orbiting real Earth, and we're gonna never stop punishing you for even taking on airs and using tech like that, holoforming anything like that. Like that would be my hope and my prayer. I can't prove it; it's not exactly scientific, but yeah, nobody should be playing God. Anyways, yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on. I'll try and explain some of the terms that I know, but because of a technique called satanic misdirection that involves the nano thieving, people that normally would have liked me were just not going to get along. And that's what these gangs of stalkers and parasites and federales, cunt-faced goons, and bloody G's, high school dropouts, that's where, like, vengeance would actually be something like that would be properly foretold in Christian lore. Like, how could, in any situation like this, somebody that's trying to be a deterrent and saying, like, you need to stop the same plot to enslave every man, woman, and child, like, it's not wishful thinking either. It was channeling. I don't know how much I can rely on it, but yeah, the true or lie, or maybe even someplace in between. I don't know. Like, allegedly, all of this reality is on a space station orbiting real Earth. Whereas you can imagine some of the same problems left unchecked could get really out of control. So, anyways, have a good morning, West Coast. Redmond, Oregon, hi again. Yeah, I'm a targeted individual. There's a lot of us. I'm definitely not special in that regard. In certain aspects, like I'm pretty smart and stuff I do, but this is a human condition issue. Period. Bellingham, Washington, the city, that you would go bounce to the border if you didn't make it to Canada. I saw some crimes against creation and things like hive mind comprehension between humans infected with nanos in the same room. It's hard to describe the pain or how unnatural or what a hell that really is to be in a room with others infected with the nanos that you can have a synthetic telepathy connection with, that up close and personal. It's hard to get into words just what high crime and what a degrading of the human condition that really is. And we shouldn't point fingers in between tribes. Voices in my head are trying to get me in fights with Jews or black people or women or traditional allies of the Democrats, but this is this is not political. This is war, actually. It's every human, every mammal, and those that benefit would be the reptilian species of the fourth density, frequency, or dimension, live or just holograms for the holographic world. They would benefit most. I'm not a reptilian, nor ever was I a reptilian. I don't human traffic. I'm human trafficked. They've been trying to link me with, like, it's an existing project, bloody genus, Project Monarch, and then other standard, really, the playbook shit that they would do to fucking anybody. It's just, I'm still a little new. I'm not an old boy. And I'm a new boy, I'm like hanging out the Pacific. With connotation, I mean by old boys, like former president of the U.S. or former FBI agent or this or that, like grown men, large grown men by parents that can get away with anything they fucking want. That's what I mean by old boy. And like gangs of stalkers and EMF criminals and shit like that. Like, oh, we got a real problem with them old boys. Oh yeah. And then above that's the fourth fucking weird. And it's not the same when I'm talking about kiddos. Stay innocent, play your video games. If your TV starts talking, turn it off. But I'm talking about like the fourth dimension, frequency, density that is either been live or holographic and bullshit. In my psychological operations are a little bit of both for some time. Then reptilians been making my life living hell. So won't let me breed. House me with demons. It's a bitch. So getting exterminated, getting Jew Nazi salamied out here in the West, but again, it's not just one tribe. It's not one skin color. Like, it's all of us. They're getting real prodding with the remote neural monitoring and voice to skull is a West Coast political dissident and like crude calculations to just go after a traditional allied groups of political dissident. No, this is everybody. This is the French winning the World Cup. Congratulations. This is definitely the English people. This is definitely the American people. Remote neural monitoring may have an international agenda. The nanos could be some of the more intense shit could be 100,000 years old. You know, that has like no feels, yeah, or any consideration for things like basic human rights or um, the human condition. So I definitely don't have all the answers, but somewhere in between David Icke's research, Project Camelot's good, John Lear's good, uh, Kevin Christensen in Atlanta, I've been getting stuff from him. There's a guy I mentioned before, he's doing like speaker, like, anyways, audio stuff out of the black budget arm who just jumped sides to the TI in Seattle. Um, what are some other resources that would be helpful for Deep Thought News, Counter Darkness on Twitter, um, and that is that the bump in Mark's website that ruined the world, the Facebook. He lost a bunch of money recently. Like, I don't know what that's totally related to or whatnot, but um, it's the social media and then the connection to gang stalking and delivering nanos to people. Man, they could have, like, with the tracking systems, and they always know where I'm at. They can have holograms of people jump out of rooms. People that I was normally interacting with, like trying to sabotage relationships with roommates and whatnot. So, as just another TI, I'm outnumbered and whatnot. Um, and there's like only like a 1%, less than a 1% chance that we really are on a space station, and some of the channeling that I did was correct. I don't like you guys should not be doing any of this shit. Otherwise, you really got to know your Swiss cheese holes and get out of here. Oh yeah, so I'm definitely not a criminal or anything like that. If it's bad, don't believe it about me. People are paid to. So I'm a savior insert. They made a war crime happen at Portland State last fall because they definitely didn't want me to find a woman. My DNA is Christian and Buddhist trained threat to old Thor and Satan systems. It's really complicated. It's not just that keyword use and nuts and bolts issues. Like, no religion's gonna save you. Like, you really need to get off Earth. They're never gonna stop using this tech. I don't mean to talk on for too long or whatnot, but yeah, 14 years, nano slave. I've done some pretty remarkable things that, because of nano thievery and satanic misdirection, um, you would never think it was me. They're trying to Zug streak me here in Oregon, and my family's the New World Order, like, totally disrupted. And at times, because of the rendering, you lose your basic humanity. So I say and feel things that I normally wouldn't, but for the psychological operations, and Christianity really is a lie. Part of the reason why they just keep lying about me is that, you should watch Zeitgeist and Zeitgeist Indemnity, just because even the original story of the man from 2,040-ish years ago with brown skin from Palestine, I think, that was actually a lie too. So, and they just get recycled even more, so they never get to heaven. But they, like, in the sinister, nothing is holy to them, expect that as a baseline, even exiting the solar system after you die. The tricks they'll try to do, like people that get tricked into the moonlight, they'll see Jesus on the way, or their mom, and get filled with the normal like love energy that they would have as a being, and then they're tricked allegedly. This moon complex tries to make it think that it's them giving them this new energy when it's you. Anyways, you get misdirected or misled up to the moon. You get to be an adult for a while, be full faculties, make things with your mind, be more godlike, I would say. And then they memory wipe you, and you're back here on the free energy farm. Some call it the table, some call it the prison planet, some call it the cradle. From really big views. I don't know how long I've been out here in this isolated, fucked-hearted, mass backward, dysfunctional, disgusting world. I'm just happy to have enough corroborated information to know that it's always been a black switch results for me. It just took a lifetime to remember whatnot. So, and I didn't need you for that, U.S. government. Or, if we're talking about angelic qualities, I can't even talk about my 6 points because you keep stealing my fucking rank and giving it to retards. Pardon the term, I don't mean like mentally disabled. I'm mentally disabled. What I mean by that is malformed. And all of this is malformed. For simple people that aren't dumb, they never had God. So they invented Satan instead. Your best bet is to evacuate Earth after you die. Bless you sincerely is another mammal to another mammal. You were always my highest priority. And they just like never stop lying about us. But yeah, free the slaves.